Hey Canucks fans, I'm Clay Emo. I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clay Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. And this is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary for Saturday, April the 25th. I hope you're doing well. I hope you started off this weekend well. And today I'm excited to resume my Zoom chats with a really bright, articulate young man. His name is Gio Palermo. You might know him better as Legorocks99 right here on YouTube. You probably do know him if you're watching me because I talk about him once in a while, and he's got over 12,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and for good reason. He's bright, he's articulate, he's witty, he's funny, and the guy knows his stuff, and he sounds really good actually. He's wise beyond his years. The guy's only 19 years old. Yes, I'm old enough to be his father. We kind of joked about that, but in all seriousness, the guy knows his stuff, and he's been producing top-notch content, not only just the Vancouver Canucks, but the Montreal Canadiens and overall NHL news on YouTube overall. And he does 2 videos a day, and his channel has been growing like crazy. So I was thrilled to sit down and chat with him. We've actually joked about collabing before. We only live about 5 or 10 minutes apart in Richmond, but I guess it took a global pandemic to make this happen. So enjoy this chat with Gio, Legorocks99, and I'll come back on the other side of this interview. Enjoy. Hey everyone, I am super excited because this is a guy who we've joked around about collabing for the past 2 years or so, but it actually took a global pandemic to make this happen. So please, you guys know him. You guys all subscribe to him as I do. Love his work. This is Gio Palermo, also known as Legorocks99. Welcome, Gio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for the kind words as well, Clay.
No, of course. And you know that I think we live 5 to 10 minutes apart from each other in Richmond, right?
Yes, we do. We're really close. We have mutual friends that know each other, that know us very well separately, which is really weird to think about. But
although you and your friends could be young enough to be my son, which is kind of weird, but that's okay. Mm-hmm. You're okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Just making sure. So Gio, no, it's seriously, it's a great thrill to finally be on here with you. Your channel, let's get right into your YouTube channel. You are up to how many subscribers now?
I have 12,500 subscribers at the moment.
Wow, that's amazing. How did you first get into this whole YouTube business?
This YouTube business was weird because I started back when I was 11 years old.
Wow.
It all started because I was a really big fan of Call of Duty videos, Call of Duty gameplay commentaries. I was a big video game guy. And as an 11-year-old kid, a guy playing a 17-year-old plus M for Mature video game I thought was like the coolest thing in the world. So I watched a whole bunch of other people play Call of Duty on YouTube.
Yeah.
And these guys would record their games, upload their games with their voice in the background, and just post those as regular videos. And that was like the coolest thing in the world to me. So I was like, at 11 years old, you know, hey, I want to do that too. So. And
your parents knew you're doing this at his 11-year-old? It's okay?
Yes, they did. They were actually the ones who took me to Future Shop at Lansdowne to buy my very first $50 capture card that I used to record Call of Duty games in standard definition quality.
Wow. So 11 years old, so that puts us how many years ago? 2000 what, basically?
This was in 2012. It was before I turned 12. I'm born in the year 2000, so it was early 2012.
Right. That's good. That's easy for me to remember your birthday then, because Gail and I got married in the year 2000, which tells me tells everyone how much older I am than you. But so you're obviously turning 20 this year then.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Okay, so you start off with Call of Duty. You're playing this mature rated game, a game that I don't even let my kids play now, but that's fine. They're not here to judge. And then when did you started to realize that you could actually not, you're not making a living completely out of it, but actually do this and do it seriously as a hobby and as a passion?
You know, when it comes to the passion side of things, it was always like that for me. I was uploading so many videos, so many days in a row, just grinding through the video games. But these videos would only really get like 40 to 50 views each. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't really a profitable use of my time back then.
Yeah.
But
plus you're 12 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So it took me a long time, but eventually it was around the 2016, 17-ish mark where I started making videos about the Vancouver Canucks. And that's really when my channel started to propel upwards and gain a consistent viewership and viewer base.
Cool.
And so it wasn't really until like my high school year where I started to really feel that like coming through and actually get a consistent base of viewers. So it took a long time, but I'm really happy that I was able to stick with it here.
Oh, for sure. And what was the turning point from a Canucks perspective? We'll talk about the views and the subs in a second, but when it came to just, hey, I want to actually vlog about the Canucks, when did that, and make videos about them, what made that happen?
I remember the exact moment this happened. It was in 2016. I was talking about Drive Club, Need for Speed, NHL 16 or whatever, making videos on these video games that I had. And they were still getting 70, 80 views each. Not really super highly up there in terms of the numbers, but the moment the Vancouver Canucks signed this random UFA free agent from the University of North Dakota, his name was Troy Stecher, I was super excited because I was like, yo, this guy's Brock Besser's teammate. He's from Richmond. He's a hometown guy. And I was so excited that my first instinct was, I got to make a video talking about this. And when I made that video, it got like, I think, 1,000 views within the first day. And then that's when I realized, oh my goodness, there's a market for talking about not my video game NHL, but the real world NHL, the actual news that happens in real life. And that's kind of the moment where I was like, we can start talking about real stuff here and get views off of it and actually have fun doing it.
And that Troy Stecher video, Gio, did that also kind of how you're still doing it 4 years later? Did it have the NHL gameplay in the background and everything?
Exactly that, yeah.
Wow.
Same format.
That's really, really cool. And I'll ask you about how much footage you have packed away and stored away in a second. How did you become a Canucks fan though? Like, so what's one thing that they signed Troy Stecher, but where did your Canucks fandom come from?
My Canucks fandom came, oh boy, this is a weird story, but it might make me seem really bad too, but I started becoming a Canucks fan in the year 2011. And I remember it was like, I was in 5th grade at the time, and it was some random day where I was like, yo, okay, let's watch TV, scroll through the channel, see what's there. And this was still during the regular season, so I had no real idea that the Canucks were this super good team. I didn't know that they had Art Ross winners and Ted Lindsay and Hart winners on their team. I watched the Canucks game for the very first time on TV, and they lost to the Boston Bruins. This was a regular season game in 2011. And watching the team, seeing the players, seeing how things moved, and seeing my classmates at school be super excited about this Canucks team, it kind of got me realizing, hey, I'm kind of missing out on this trend that everybody's being super interested in. And eventually, once the cup run started, we literally took time out of our class to discuss, okay, we won Game 7, Nashville. Let's talk about Nashville. Class, what do we know about Nashville? And that's what my grade 5 teacher had us sit down and remember and talk about. So from there, I really started to become an actual Canucks fan, following the team, learning the players' names, and seeing what they would do as they went towards the Cup finals. But I remember after the Canucks won Game 5 against San Jose, and we were watching the Boston-Tampa Bay series on the other side go on, I remember thinking to myself, I don't want to face Boston. Boston is the team that I saw the Canucks lose to earlier on in the year, so they have to be good, right? It was like the only game that I had seen back then. And then the Boston Bruins won in Game 7, and then the finals happened, and that's where we'll end the story.
That's a good story, because if you were my age and you admitted to someone that you started watching hockey in 2011, someone may say you're a bandwagon jumper or whatever. But the fact that you're only 11 years old, we're going to give you a pass. And I actually think bandwagoners are good, because that's how you grow a fan base, right? You can't you can't simply say, oh, I've been here all 40 years and I was here when there was this guy and this guy. Yeah, but you have to evolve and the team has to evolve. So no, I think that's a really cool story. By the way, just very quickly, if the Canucks play Tampa in the Stanley Cup Finals, do we win a cup?
I think so. Yeah, I absolutely think we do.
I'm with you. No, that's a pretty cool story. So we got Call of Duty gameplay. Then we go to Vancouver Canucks starting in 2016. And then what was the video that it might not be your most ever views, but what was the video when you said, wow, now it's not just a matter of getting more than 80 views. I can get, thousands of views on videos, and I have a formula that I think works now.
I remember this exactly as well. We talked about the Troy Stecher thing that happened in 2016. That was a nice eye-opener to me, but at the same time, I was still doing like other video game videos. I still would do NHL 19 season mode stuff.
Hmm.
And that would vary from time to time. And my consistency at that time wasn't the best. But beginning in my senior year, I uploaded a video before the season started called The Rise of Jake Virtanen.
Hmm.
And this is a video that got a very high amount of views that I realized wasn't really me trying to pull something out of thin air. It wasn't me trying to use all the real life news into a video when there's no real life news because it was September and there wasn't really anything happening. It was me doing what I do best, which is talking about the sport that I love. Every morning in grade 12, I would go into the library and talk with the same group of friends every single day about what's going on in the NHL, talking about players, talking about prospects, and talking about whatever. And I carried that same kind of conversation onto the microphone over here. And that's really when I started to realize, yo, I can do the same thing that I do in real life in a digital format, and people dig this stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I was kind of sitting on a gold mine.
That's awesome. And I must say, for a 19-year-old, for a 29-year-old, for a 39-year-old, you are very articulate. You have a really nice cadence, a nice flow to your video. No, I mean it. And you're articulate and you make sense when you talk. Have you always been a decent public speaker?
Honestly, I'm going to say kind of not really.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that does have to do with the fact that I made YouTube videos where I would just spend hours and hours and hours talking on a microphone for a very big part of my childhood. Before, when I started making YouTube videos in grade 6, I believe, the first video that's on my channel, I'm kind of, like, not like that, pretty much. Stuttering, stopping, I can't really find the right words to express what I'm trying to say. But as the years go on and as you make thousands of videos like I have on video games and talking about topics, it becomes a little bit easier to speak. And, going to a radio program at BCIT definitely does help with that as well. Yeah,
tell us about that really quickly. Are you done now? Or are you still in the middle of that program?
I am done now. Yeah, absolutely done. I handed in my last, thank you, my last assignment the previous Sunday. So that was a little report I had to write up. It's all up there. And now we are waiting for our virtual graduation on the BCIT video thing that they're going to do soon.
So you get that and you come out of there with a what? What is it? A degree?
I come out with a diploma.
In
radio arts and entertainment.
Awesome. 2 years?
2 years, yeah.
Awesome. And then what happens next for you from career schooling wise? What's the next plan?
You see, BCIT has they're very adamant on how their grads are always getting jobs.
Yes.
And a lot of that has to do with the idea that when you graduate from BCIT, one of the last things you have to do for your practicum is actually get an internship. So in theory, if all this stuff going on in the world doesn't happen, my classmates and I have our internships as we leave BCIT. We work on those and eventually use those as gateways into the industry, whether that be, radio broadcasting on air or production, social media, stuff like that. But everything got paused up, so we're not really too sure on how things are going to go once they fix themselves up.
So in a perfect world, if things had progressed normally, you would have gone now into an internship. Do you pick it or do they place you somewhere?
I would need to pick it, yes. Yeah. And I would have the option of choosing where I have to go. But I'm actually in a weird position because I actually didn't need to do the internship. Technically, I was able to get myself a real job before the end of the semester, which oddly enough was my YouTube channel because they figured that it made enough money to count as a real job.
That's amazing. That's awesome. No, truly, that's really good.
I was really surprised that they verified it and that they were kind enough to say that, yeah, if you want to work on this, then we will support you and you can go for it. But for all my other classmates who didn't have the luxuries that I had, they had their internships canceled and they're working things out now with uncertainty behind it. So it's very frustrating.
Well, you're very humble, Gio. So you've done your internship then. You've fulfilled that requirement.
Technically, yes, I have already.
So technically you can go out and get a real job now.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
That's really good, man. Like you can be in the workforce once all this happens by 20 years old. That's pretty sweet.
It hasn't really hit me yet, but like when I think about it now, I'm like, I'm technically done school.
Yep.
Like it's weird to think about it like that. I'm kind of free in a way, but it's weird not having that routine that I'm forced to do.
So what's ideal for you? Is it too naive to say, oh man, I want to work for the Vancouver Canucks, or oh man, I want to do this? Because I know you do play-by-play, Richmond Sockeyes. I know you've done some radio work. Like, in a perfect world, what do you think is realistically the next step for you?
I have no idea. Honestly, this is one of the toughest questions that I could have at this time, because when you take a look at what my program set up for me, they set me up in a direction that says, okay, your YouTube channel is going well, you can work on this. And I will say that the money that I'm getting for the YouTube channel has always been better than what has been like my part-time job, like at McDonald's or at Shoppers Drug Mart or whatever. I was making way more money on YouTube than I was over there.
Wow.
So to me, sticking at home and working on this channel isn't a bad waste of time, but at the same time, there is the potential to seek something else in the real media world that's not just confined within my bedroom, you know?
Right.
So for now, I think I'm probably just going to stick with this channel for a little bit.
Yeah.
And we'll see what opportunities open up towards the future, whether that's play-by-play with some BCHL teams or production jobs with other organizations or whatever. But I really don't know.
Yeah, and I think you're in a good position because truly you could be a tiny bit more picky in the job that you want or get. And even if it's not a full-time, or if it's not as much as you might want to be making as a grown man or whatever, at least you have this. It's not even a YouTube thing to fall back on. Like, this is legit stuff that you're doing. So full props to you, man. That's really, really good. And you've earned it. Now I'll talk about, I love how honest you are about the struggles or the challenges too. And we'll get into that part of the YouTube side, the trickier side that I think a lot of people don't see, but we'll get to that in a second. Take me behind the curtain now. So a typical 10 and a half. Yeah, no, you can keep that up. Yeah, I don't want to see your bed. But
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I know we joke around about hitting the 10-minute mark for our videos because, there's this YouTube algorithm that says you have a better chance to make more money. But in a typical 10 and a half minute video, how long does that take you to record, to edit, and then to get up? Like, what's the process like for you?
Okay, so usually it starts off with the topic itself.
Yep.
That's probably the biggest thing, because now that we're in a time where there's no news coming out, we have to think about things on the fly, impromptu topics to talk about. So I'll maybe spend a few hours a week just like on my calendar app on my phone, typing out topics that I'm going to be doing for the day. But assuming I already have a topic, a 10-minute audio commentary will probably take about, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes to record.
Yep.
I always need to cut things, and I always need to make sure that what I'm saying is legible. But usually, whenever I record a commentary, it's the commentary itself that is one of the easiest parts. Then the editing comes in, where I have to put the commentary underneath some gameplay, and then go through the entire thing, add the graphics, add whatever pictures I need to put to support what I'm trying to say. And then from there, we export it. I make the thumbnail. Thumbnail usually takes 15 to 30 minutes, depending on how crazy I want it to look.
And we see it. Your thumbnails are the best in the business. Good job. Yeah.
I appreciate that, Clay. Thank
they're
you.
Great.
And then the uploading process, it takes a few minutes. It's mostly just typing everything out. My internet speed's pretty fast, so I'm lucky that I'm able to upload things really quickly.
Yeah.
But typing everything out takes quite a lot, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So in total, probably one video probably would take about 40 to 45 minutes to go from nothing to on YouTube.
Yeah.
That is, if I remain focused and I don't get distracted by YouTube videos or some new music or a video game in the background. So,
well, so you're editing after you record the audio recording, you're editing graphics and everything and putting it on top of and that only takes about half an hour to 45 minutes, even that part? That's
it does, yeah. Because I usually know what graphics I'm going to put before I edit it, because I usually use the graphics that I'm looking at while I'm making the commentary itself.
Right.
So I kind of have an idea, okay, I'm talking about this stat, I'll pull this stat from Elite Prospects and I'll put it on the video.
Right, or this quote, or
Exactly, yeah.
That makes sense. So how much NHL 20 gameplay do you have, like, ready to go?
Oh, boy. You see, I haven't been playing a lot of NHL 20 lately because I've been playing a lot of GTA, but before I started playing GTA, I stockpiled on the NHL stuff. I had about, I want to say 30 gigabytes of NHL 20 gameplay just saved on my hard drive, ready to pull from whenever I want to make a video. So that's Canucks gameplay, that's Habs gameplay, that's Red Wings gameplay, that's gameplay from Swedish teams where prospects play, and Russian teams, and all these other teams that, okay, just in case I'm making, I don't know, Niels Hoglander video, I have some Rogla BK footage that I can use and pull from right away.
Right. So you have a 10-minute video, for instance. Do you then, what footage you have and you back it up basically 10 minutes? Because I noticed that your videos end basically when the game ends. So obviously that's a nice little editing thing that you do. So you must go backwards a little bit, right?
Yeah. I do go backwards. Usually NHL games usually take about 7 to 8 minutes.
Right.
But I change the timer on my games so that they go 10 to 15.
That's smart.
Usually all the commentary is recorded up to 10 minutes, and then I will cut the gameplay to fit that, usually using the transitions and the cutscenes from the gameplay as the transition points in the video.
And I will admit, I've watched a couple of your videos trying to learn how to play, because I think I told you my son Sean throttles me all the time. And I've talked about this before. When we play ones, Sean always creams Jacob and me. When we play threes, Jacob beats me, and I don't know how, because the guy doesn't know anything about hockey. But when it's fives, I can put all 5 of my guys in front of my goalie, and that's my strategy. Just block. That's why I'm so bad, man. Block everything and hopefully get a breakaway or a one-timer that they're not expecting. I'm so bad. I am so bad. So
I mean, if it works, it works.
No, it doesn't work. That's the problem. So maybe once all this happens, I got to get you over here and you can teach me how to beat my kids.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I appreciate that peek behind the curtain. And you do 2 videos a day. And I noticed that you schedule them for 10 a.m. and noon. Are those the 2 times that work for you?
Yes. You see, normally when I was in high school, I would always schedule things at 3 p.m. Pacific, because back when I was in high school, I was only doing Canucks stuff, only doing stuff that was in the Vancouver sphere of hockey. And 3 p.m. is when I was like, okay, that's when all the kids are getting off at school. That's usually my demographic's time to get on their phones and see what's new. So 3 p.m. was always the standard. But now that everyone doesn't have school anymore, and now that we're all just home, and now that I focus on other teams than Vancouver, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. usually work out the best for me.
Awesome. And great segue, because I was going to ask you, I noticed that along with the Vancouver Canucks stuff, I'd say, and correct me if I'm wrong, the second most popular team, or the second team that you devote most attention to, is the Montreal Canadiens. Is that true?
Yes, I would say so.
Not only, I presume that you have a lot of fans that are watching it, whether they're here or in Montreal, but do you also love that team as well?
I do, and it's weird to say that I do, because I've always been one of those guys that's like, how can you cheer for 2 teams? That's really weird. But I had a few BCIT classmates who were really big into the Habs, and knowing what I do about hockey and other prospects, I would relate to that. And just being around some of these Habs fans got me into learning about what's going on with the Habs. And then making a few YouTube videos about the Habs, talking about the same things we talked about in class, I realized that there's a really big market for Habs fans as well on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they all kind of really accepted me as one of their own. Even though I'm a Vancouver guy on the West Coast, I got a lot of Habs fans with a lot of positivity right away. So that was very, very good for me. I was very thankful for that.
Awesome. Do you know if there are a lot of Montreal Canadiens vloggers, for instance, doing what you do?
There's a few. There's a few people who do make Habs-related videos. There's actually one guy who makes, you might get a kick out of this, Clay, makes Habs parody songs.
Okay.
But they're in French.
Okay.
Which is, there's a little bit of a different vibe than the things that you do, because English, French, right? There's
harder to rhyme. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really weird. There was a guy who made an Old Town Road parody, but instead of talking about Old Town Road, he talked about Cole Caulfield in French. And that was like one of the funniest videos I had seen.
No, I know you've done a couple music videos as well. It's a labor of love for sure.
Yeah.
West Coast roast. Anyone watching? I'm sure anyone watching this has already seen your West Coast roast, but that was pretty good. That was a lot of fun. So what videos do well for you typically? Like when you're looking at your analytics. And so actually it's 3 questions. It's what videos do well for you? Do the videos that you think are going to do well usually do well, or do you often get surprised? And what videos do you enjoy making the most? And is that related to the ones that do well?
I think to answer your first question bluntly, what videos do the best? If there's a big piece of news, that kind of video usually explodes right off the bat. It's Cole Caulfield getting drafted. It's Podkolzin getting drafted. It's Tyler Toffoli getting traded to Vancouver. It's Kovalchuk getting traded. It's immediate big pieces of information that come out and the whole fan base is imploding and everybody is searching on YouTube to see what people are saying about it.
Right. We know that YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world behind Google, right? So
Yeah.
that's huge. Yeah. Okay, great.
And when it comes to videos that I think are going to do well, that usually depends. Sometimes I do get surprised. I will admit that some videos that I make, I'm like, oh, I thought the topic idea was really good. How come it's only at this number when this other video is at a much higher number? So I'm in for surprises once in a while. Nobody's perfect. If I could predict all these algorithms perfectly, then I'd probably have 1 million subscribers, right?
Right.
But when it comes to the videos that I love to make the most, I would say personally for me, it's the prospect videos. I love talking about the future of the NHL and talking about what could be. So talking about guys like Podkolzin and Höglander, and then for the Canadiens, Caulfield and Jaden Struble and all that. It's so encapsulating to me to talk about what's in store for this hockey league.
And it's funny, the guys you're talking about are basically your age or like a year younger than you. Or
It's weird.
And, you know, I have no problem. You know, the cool thing is a lot of people will ask me once in a while, why don't you do a video on this prospect? And I will tell them flat out, that's not my wheelhouse. And I actually point them to someone like you or someone to Brett, someone who just, that's your wheelhouse and you're very good at it. Like, I think when I would like to give the everyday fans, you know, the common fans experience, whether it's at a game or something you read in the news, or how does this affect the team, or here's what I noticed watching. But when it comes to like prospect stuff and, you know, redrafting and stuff, that's like totally not my thing. And I admit it, and I flat admit, and it gave me a certain freedom. Like when I just tried to do videos that I like doing, as opposed to, oh, I think this would get more views, or I think this person would like that, then that doesn't become me. And it's fine. I don't know if you ever feel that too. Like sometimes, I know you ever got caught in the trap of making videos of you think that people want you to make, and you sit back and say, wait a sec, I'm kind of getting away from what I want to be doing.
Absolutely. I've felt that for sure.
Yeah.
That was something that I felt very heavily earlier on into the year, because when my YouTube channel got approved as my media job for BCIT, that's when I really realized, hey, this is legit now. Yeah. This isn't really a hobby in the background anymore. This has to be my #1 priority. This is my way to graduate. So that's when I started looking at all the other hockey YouTubers, O Nyquist, Rob Talks Hockey, Grav, and seeing what they were doing and seeing how their videos would get so many quintuple digit views. And then I was thinking to myself, okay, I need to fulfill my quota to get my graduation requirements fulfilled. I need to get these kind of numbers too. If I can do that, then I'm golden. So I would make some videos earlier on in the year that weren't really me, and videos that I was just kind of forcing to make to try to get hits.
Yep.
And those videos really didn't do as well as I thought they would. They didn't get the Rob Talks Hockey views or whatever. They just got my normal kind of views minus a few, 100 or 1,000 or whatever, which kind of really spooked me out, which really put me in a position where I had to sit down and say, okay, back to the basics. What are my strengths on this platform? What are my best assets as a content creator? And the biggest thing was the commentary itself, my ability to talk about specific topics. So I realized I have to go into content that allows me to use that to the best of its ability. So,
well, what a good answer. And that's very humble of you to recognize that as a 19-year-old, especially when, it's kind of weird because I watched that video and I commented on it because I thought you were very transparent, you're very genuine, and you're very honest. And you said basically what you said there so well, that you did feel a bit of pressure. You did feel like, how come I'm not measuring up this way, supposedly, but at the same time, you're still pulling in massive numbers. So talk a bit about how, or maybe I can lead into this so it's not to put it on the spot. I think it's very easy in all walks of life to try and compare yourself to someone else. Oh, that person has more subscribers. That person has more views. That person gets better guests, whatever it is. And when you try and force, yourself into, square peg round hole type thing, people know it's not you. People know it's not genuine. And I would much rather, or have a big channel, small channel, whatever, as long as it's me. And, I have 4,500 subscribers, which is good. It's decent. It's 1/3 of what you have, but I would never sit there and say, oh man, I can't believe Gio must be 3 times better than me. And because you've built your way that way. And I'm very happy for you. That's why I do subscribe and I get notifications. For me, it's never about competition. And I think of guys that only have the 40 subscribers or the 50 subscribers, and we're trying to encourage them too, because the one thing you don't want is we were there too, right?
Absolutely,
And we don't want those people to get discouraged too, because I keep saying, don't try and look for the home run video. Just do what you love, and that will come out loud and clear. But would you agree with me that it's a natural thing to compare yourself to others doing the same thing that you are doing?
It would be, yeah. It's very easy to just take a look and scroll through and see who else is over there and seeing their numbers.
Yeah.
But it's always like, a reminder to me that I was on this platform for 7 years before I became popular, quote unquote.
Right.
And I stuck through it because I loved making videos. I loved uploading. I loved playing video games. So
that's awesome. No, that's a good perspective. So it's funny. I know you've talked about a couple of videos where people recognize you like on campus now, or they recognize your voice, or they recognize. Tell me about that. Yeah.
It's weird. The first time it happened, first time I ever got recognized, I was walking to the Stand. The Stand is a convenience store in BCIT. We have several The Stands on campus. I was walking to the main one wearing my Besser North Dakota jersey, and some guy walking the opposite direction, he comes up, he's like on his phone, and he looks up, kind of looks at me, and then he's like, excuse me. And I was like, And then he's like, do you have a YouTube channel? And I was like, yeah, I do. And he's like, yo, man, like I watch you all the time. And then we exchanged a handshake. Very big shout out to Ren who did that. And then
good job, Ren. Yeah, good job, Ren.
I also got recognized at Richmond Center in the food court because there was a PJHL Junior B hockey tournament going on where all the PJHL teams were in Minoru Arena. And one of the players who was standing in front of me, really tall, buff guy, he turned around and he was like, hey, you have a YouTube channel, right? And then I was like, oh, yeah, nice to meet you. And then we shook hands as well. That guy was, I believe he was on the Aldergrove Kodiaks, so big shout out to him as well. It's been interesting getting recognized. Even on NHL 20, I'm getting messages from people that I play with saying, yo, are you the YouTuber?
Oh,
or
that's
are you
funny.
the guy who makes Chell videos? And it's always really interesting to see those as well.
Oh, that's really cool. And the crazy thing is, I'd say on 90% of videos, you don't even show your face. Unlike this guy who just turns on his phone and just starts yakking you. It's all your voice. So people either recognize their voice. Imagine, and not that you're in it to get recognized, but imagine if you were doing more like face-to-face vlogs, just how many more people recognize you, but they know your name, they know your content, and I think they know your voice for sure, which is really, really cool. So who are some of your biggest YouTube influences that either current or past?
Biggest YouTube influences for me were always the Call of Duty guys.
Yeah.
No shade to the hockey guys. I love this hockey community on YouTube very dearly. You guys are all really, really great content creators and good friends as well. But the ones who really pushed me mentally to do it at the very beginning, it's always been the Call of Duty guys. So X-Jaws, Woody's Gamertag, White Boy 7th Street. I know all these names probably are just names to the majority of the viewers of this video, but they were the ones who really pushed me into wanting to start this. And it's been a huge push because this is where I went to BCIT to go into education for, and this is where I am now making my primary source of income from. Yeah. So a lot of my life pretty much has been devoted to what these guys started a long time ago. Those are good answers. I didn't recognize any of those names, but I'm sure some of the viewers here will. That's pretty cool. All right, let's talk a few Canucks questions, and then we'll wrap up with our six-pack. How does that sound? Okay, sure. All
right. If the season comes back, let's presume it does, do the Canucks make the playoffs?
Yes.
Yes.
Why? I say they do because this was such a long break. Give Besser the time he needs to recover. Give Markstram the ability to actually recover without all the pressure of playoffs in the background. Give this team time to recuperate, get healthy, and start playing again in a league where they were already in the playoffs by by point percentage. Give them a few more games. Give them some chances to prove themselves, and I think it's going to happen.
Good. I loved your video from a couple of days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, where you talked about the big three UFAs of Jacob Markstram, Tyler Toffoli, and Chris Tanev. And I think that's the order that you listed them in priority. But tell me a bit about each of those three guys and what the Canucks how many of those guys are coming back, do you think?
Oh, man. I want to say all three.
Yeah.
But I can't say that with my full heart of hearts. For safety, let's just say two are coming back. But when it comes down to it, to me, Jacob Markstram is that number one. He's a guy who is among the best in the NHL. His numbers aren't a top 10 goalie. That's okay. The guy plays incredibly well. He steals games for us. Chris Tanev has been probably the best defensive defenseman on the team for the past 10 years, and I don't think there's anyone who really challenges for that. And he's a guy who deserves a pay raise. It's just unfortunate with how the Canucks cap is working out that if he gets that pay raise, it will be at the jeopardy of other players.
Yeah.
And Tyler Toffoli is a guy who worked so well with this Vancouver Canucks team, 10 points in 10 games. It would really suck if he doesn't re-sign because we would give up Tim Schaller. I know Tim Schaller, I'm going to miss him. And Tyler Madden for 10 games of Tyler Toffoli and no playoffs if that happens. Yeah. So that's really going to be unfortunate. But all three of these guys are very, very important pieces in my eyes. So keeping any of them would be the top priority for me.
No, well said. And under that layer of the big three, then you have the guys that are very important, but second tier guys that are still up. Virtanen and Stetcher and guys like that. What do you think happens to those two?
Ooh, man. Virtanen and Stetcher, you know, if it were up to me, I'd want to keep everybody.
Yeah.
Right? I like this team. I like the players. But when you take a look at how much money some of these people can ask for, like Virtanen's making just over $1 million. Do you think he's going to get that again?
No,
he's worth more than that. Like, he almost got 20 goals this season. He'll get 20 if the season resumes. Troy Stetcher was making, I think, some over $2 million. I'm not sure if he gets a significantly higher amount than that, but at the same time, with the way the money needs to be spent with other players, there's a lot of concern as to how these things are going to come back.
Mm-hmm.
But with Troy being a Richmond guy, Jake Virtanen being an Abbey guy, it's really tough to say where things are going to lay out. Hometown discounts, if they even really apply here or whatever. I'm really not sure.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing. It's a tricky thing. So here's a more speculative thing. Do you think, putting you on the spot, do you think the NHL will come back in some way, shape, or form this season?
When you put it like that, I'm going to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
They've been talking a lot about playing into the summer, playing later into the year. I want to listen to it, and I want to say that it's going to happen. I don't really know for certain if it is or if it isn't, but if I had to lay out what I would probably guess is going to happen, I'd say yes.
Yeah, you know, I was saying that right at the start, right in the middle of March when everything was happening, and then I started to get a little more pessimistic, right, as every day goes on. But yeah, every day we're hearing something different. Neutral site games, or everyone in one city, or draft in June, or draft in August. Like it's crazy. There's so many. Are you an NFL fan, by the way? Did you catch any of that draft yesterday?
No, I'm not an NFL fan. Okay, I had no idea what was going on my timeline yesterday.
So they did a virtual draft, and I think a lot of people are saying, well, the NHL can learn a little bit from how the NFL did it. So that's kind of interesting as well. Do you ever get into the arena, Gio, for games?
No, I don't actually. Yeah. The last time I was in Rogers Arena was for a Warriors game, the lacrosse team. But other than that, the last time was in grade 10.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to change that when the Canucks come back. We'll vlog from the game, and then break the internet. Okay, let's go with that. Those are really good. I want to give you what I call the six pack. This is how I kind of wind up every interview. And 3 of them are Canucks related. 3 of them aren't related to the Canucks. And you can talk for as long as you want on any of them. They don't have to be rapid fire. It just means I have 6 of them ready to go. Okay?
Okay.
Are you an extrovert or an introvert, and why?
I would say I am mostly an extrovert in social situations where I am supposed to be. That's a weird way to talk about it. When I'm in class, I am able to easily talk to people, see what we need to do to get our work done, and go from there. But if I do not need to do that, I will not do that. I will sit back, put on my AirPods, and just listen to music.
Very good. Very good. And your Palermo is a Filipino last name, correct?
I would assume so, because I am full Filipino. But it is a city in Italy, so I'm not really too sure.
Are your parents extroverted?
I would say they're kind of like me.
Yeah.
Honestly, exactly like me. I've never really thought about it like that. You kind of stumped me on that one.
Because I think it's funny it's with all cultures, and I'm Japanese Chinese. Emo's a Japanese name, but I have a lot of Filipino friends and colleagues, and I think with Filipino parents, especially, like a lot of them are very extroverted. And it sounds so stereotypical, but they like karaokeing, right? You knew that was coming. Yeah. They like dancing. They like entertaining. But you also have some of the hardest working people that are of Filipino culture, right? And that doesn't mean they're extrovert or introvert. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. How about your younger brother?
Um, I'd say he's probably an introvert.
Okay.
Yeah.
You do some of the talking for him?
Yeah, I guess so, pretty much.
Okay, here's my favorite, and it's stumped everyone, but everyone's actually gone one way. Who is more important to the Canucks going forward? I know you know this is coming. Elias Pettersson or Quinn Hughes?
Oh boy. You say everyone's gone one way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say, in the context of the Vancouver Canucks, who this team has portrayed, who they've played in the past few years, I'm going to say Quinn.
Yeah, you're with the majority. Not one person has said Pettersson yet.
I'm going to say Quinn because this team has never had a number one franchise-altering defenseman at the level that a Quinn Hughes can be. Petey is great. I love Petey. But Quinn is something this city has never seen before.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that.
That's a great answer. I think that's totally fair. I think we'd agree that Pettersson and Hughes together probably sped up our rebuild by a couple years just on their own. Yeah. All right. Number 3, are you a Netflix guy or Disney Plus guy?
I am a neither guy. I don't have any of those.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. I watch a lot of anime. So it's the other streaming services that yeah. I do a lot of Netflix or whatever it's called, the Discord party where I'm with my friends and we watch streams of other things together. So it's not technically like allowed, but it's a streaming platform from one of my other friends it's a weird way to describe it, but
no, I hear you. My son Jacob watches some volleyball one.
Haikyuu.
Yeah, that thing.
Haikyuu.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very popular, yes.
So it sounds. Number 4, who would you most want to enjoy a dinner with? Conversation and the works. Travis Green, Jim Benning, or Francesco Aquilini?
Oh boy. I would probably say Jim. Right off the bat, I'd say Jim because I would like to talk about all the inner workings and all the potential trades and the moves that didn't happen.
Right.
Learning about what this team is like behind the curtain and seeing what could have happened in the past is something that's so interesting to me. Yep. Travis Green, I don't want to be a rude guy, but I think I would have a tough time like being able to open up to a Travis Green. And
I'm with you.
Yeah, exactly. And for Francesco Aquilini, I think I would just rather have a richer conversation with the other two guys than him. No disrespect to Aquilini, very good businessman, but yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think Benning, because we kind of make fun of it too, he's so honest. He's so transparent. I really think you could talk for hours with that guy. I really do.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you could just drill him on the prospects, man, and his drafting. Yeah, that's good. Okay, number 5, are you an early bird or a night owl?
I am a night owl. I've been for years. My parents met when they were in a band. Oh. And so they toured Asia before marrying and having me and coming to Canada. So they've always been night owls. And I've really picked up on that over the past few years. And I think we'll just stop there. I don't want to reveal a little anymore.
No, that's pretty cool. But you, just as an aside, you are a musician, right? You can sing. I've heard you sing, and you can play instruments. What do you play?
I play the guitar.
Okay. Well,
I used to play piano growing up, but
that's cool. Well, we'll have to do a musical collab then too, I think.
I guess so, yeah.
Break the internet that way. And then number 6 for you, Gio, who's the next Canuck in the Ring of Honor?
Ooh, boy, next Canuck in the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
The easy answers are Kessler and Bieksa. One of those two. But there are a lot of other candidates on the team right now that I think could potentially challenge for that.
Yep.
I know a guy like Edler is literally like the highest scoring Canucks defender ever, so he kind of deserves that recognition. Yep. But in regards to who's coming first, I'd probably say Bieksa. The guy had such a crazy impact with this team on and off the ice. The stuff that he did with the Rick Rippon thing afterwards and the way that he has basically transcended NHL on-ice gameplay into media, it really opens the doors for him to being accepted back into this city in a role like that. So I think that he could probably, I think if I had to choose one, it would probably be Bieksa.
You know, he's a natural. You can just see how natural he's been at the All-Star game and at the on the hockey night and the Sportsnet panels. He's been outstanding. Do you think Roberto gets a sniff?
Oh man, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would say that or retired or nothing.
Yeah.
It's a weird one with Roberto.
He's already retired in Florida, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick one, I would pick Ring of Honor, but I don't, as much as I like him, he's my favorite actually ex-Canucks player, but I don't see him on the level of the 6 guys that are up there right now. I don't know. Like with the jerseys retired.
Yeah, it's tough. You can make an argument either way, honestly.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, Gio, where can people follow you and on what social media platforms?
You can follow me on YouTube at Legorocks99. That's the YouTube channel. The actual URL is Legorocks99 Gaming, but no one really searches that anymore, which is why I changed it. And then on Twitter, it is at LR99 Gaming. The branding is bad. I know that. It's tough to find me, but it's kind of corresponding to what the YouTube channel used to be called. So right. LR99 Gaming on Twitter.
No, and as much as we say it's not about views or it's not about subs, it is one indicator of whatever success or competence, whatever. So I've always said, if we could have your YouTube following with my Twitter engagement, we would be an unstoppable machine. But we'll have to support each other in our avenues anyway. So Gio, thank you. This was very, very enlightening. Everything from your motivation to your history, your backstory, and to what gets you going and how you find content. And I know I can speak for everyone watching this that we appreciate that all that you do, and the fact that you do it so humbly, yet with a lot of care and a lot of pride in your work. I know I appreciate everything you do, and it inspires me actually in my one take wonder videos. Despite those, no, I really enjoy what you're doing. So keep up the good work, man.
Thank you, Clay. Thank you. That means a lot to me.
Of course. And once this all gets done, we'll actually get together in the same room and do something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. We have to eventually.
Right. There you go. Thanks, Gio. We'll take care and keep on repping the GLCPC with me.
All right, for sure. 100%. Glad to be here.
Okay, thanks. Take care, bud.
You too.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that chat with Gio. You can tell that the guy knows his stuff. Like I said, he's articulate, he's funny, he's intelligent, and he's a big Canucks fan, and you can't go wrong with that. So make sure you subscribe to him if somehow you're not subscribed to him already. And I'll put a link to his channel right in the description down below. But let me know what you thought of that interview. Is there anything that he said that really stands out to you, either in the way he comes up with content or how long or not long? I was actually surprised at how quickly he can edit such a top-notch video and get it up and running in as short a time span as he said it takes, which is pretty darn impressive actually. But you can see that he's killing it on his channel. I encourage you to go check it out. And he really has a strength, as he said, he really enjoys talking about the Canucks, but in particular about prospects, not only the ones that the Canucks have drafted, but ones that maybe are gonna be guys that are gonna be entering the draft in this season, whenever the draft is going to be. So I love your feedback below. Leave a comment. I will read, react, and reply as always. Subscribe if you like to. Like this video if you like to. Enjoy the day. Be safe. Be healthy. Take care of yourselves and of each other. Have a great day. God bless, and go Canucks go.